Folks, it's good to be with you today, and today we're going to do a little thing called the State of the City, and I hope that I'm able to just give you some things. There's some highlights and share a few thoughts with you. Let me start by sharing this. I heard a statement the other day that I thought was kind of cute. It says there's two things that people don't like. Number one is change. Number two is the way things are. Now that's kind of a cute little quote. I just want you to know that I don't buy into that. I don't know that people that don't like change. I think they don't like change just for change's sake. I think when folks can see that there needs to be a change, and the change is a positive change, they can get behind that. And I don't necessarily think people don't like the way things are unless the way things aren't particularly correct, and then they'd like to see things change. But I thought it was kind of a cute statement, and we'll work towards that. As you look at this first picture, don't we have a beautiful city? I am grateful for the city that we live in and for what it's becoming and what it has been. And I think together, as we work together and get community buy-in with all of our citizens, our elected officials, and the staff that work here at the city, we can make investments in this city that will make it everything that we want it to be. I want to talk to you about this New Day development and the developers up there. We want you to know that the street that comes off of the new interchange will be finished more this year. We're going to finish it, complete it over to Yellowstone Avenue later this year, and that's going to be a real blessing. We recognize the potential for growth that is in that area, and I think everybody knows that some of the challenges we've had with the COVID virus has kind of shut things down. But even though they're shut down, they really aren't going away. And the day will come that we'll be able to see those things flourish and be able to be a real blessing to all of us. We've had some great experiences with the City Hall, and I want to tell each one of you, I want to encourage you to go over and look at the new City Hall. It's coming along, and the most important thing I think I want to say to each of you about this is truly your building. I want everybody to go over there and take personal ownership with that. We're building it to be very friendly to the citizens. There's going to be a community gathering space there that's going to be open for all of our use. And we want this to be a place where we feel very comfortable about coming and gathering. And I think as you go over there and look and see what's happening, you'll become excited with the potential that's going to bring to our community and the opportunity for growth that's going to bring as we see some new development happen in a very natural way around that new City Hall. At the same time, we've got new City Hall taken care of, and at the same time, we've got the plans are in place for remodeling this existing City Hall into a wonderful new police headquarters. And I'm just excited as I see the way the plans have come together for that. That's going to be wonderful. Now, also, at the same time, over here we're going to build a new animal shelter, and I think that's important. We've had an animal shelter, and most people who know what's happened with that recognize that our citizens are responsible for what we have out there. They went to work and brought in donations and volunteered labor to put together what's there. But that has degraded to the point that we knew we needed to do something different, and so there's going to be a new animal shelter to take care of our four-legged friends, and I think you'll be excited to see that going up also at the same time. Let me acknowledge our police department. They received the Idaho Chief of Police certification. I'm grateful for that. My goodness, what a blessing that has become to all of us. They worked really hard at that, and I didn't realize all that meant, but I know that Chief Giberson had that as a goal from day one to get this certification. They worked real hard at it, and I was grateful as the folks that make that certification came here and did some interviewing of all of us, including myself. I was grateful to see the work that had taken place there. They left here very impressed with what they had seen. They had a couple of suggestions of things that we could do, but they said everything was in place, and it was just within a short time after that that we received notice that they had received the Idaho Chief of Police certification, so that's really a big deal. We talked to you for a minute about the DARE program. It's up and running again, and we're grateful for that. Again, this is a time when we need to be so supportive of students and teachers, and this program does just that. I've made it a point to try to get to the DARE graduations, and it's much more than just the training that takes place there. As I see the interaction that these students and teachers have with our police department. What a wonderful thing to see happening. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the work that's put in to take care of that. And I know that the people who are in place to run that program know what it's all about, and they do an excellent job. So I'm very grateful for them. We all know that during the Christmas season, during the holiday season, we weren't able to do a lot of the gatherings we enjoy doing with each other. We had to do it in a little bit of a different way. I just want you to know that as I traveled throughout the community during the holiday season, how excited I was to see people pick up their game. The decorations that were had in our community were absolutely beautiful and brought such a wonderful spirit. We made a point to get some new decorations here at the city because we had that discussion and realized this was something that was going to be important to our community. And I just want to say thank you to all of the residences, the businesses, and everybody who just during that holiday season picked up that spirit. And even though we weren't able to do some of the wonderful gatherings that we enjoy and like to do, we were able to have a wonderful experience and a good spirit here in our community. So thank you for that. I think most of you are aware that the Grace Community, the Independent Living Center, is complete over there in the New Day area. If you haven't been by and seen it, I would suggest you do. I know for a period of time after they opened, they did some tours. I think that if you dropped in there, they'd probably be willing to show you what they have. That is going to be a facility that will take care of the needs, particularly of our elderly, but some others also, for many, many generations to come. And I'm grateful for the beautiful building they've built and the wonderful addition they are to our community. That north side crossing is a TIF district, and they've put in some wonderful plans too. We're going to see some great things being developed over there, so keep your eye out as you watch things happen along that line. We also had a Marititle came into our city this last year. They've got a beautiful building over there just off of Chubbuck Road. And I would just suggest again, each of you take a time to go over and see that wonderful building. That's a great business that will serve our community as far as our residents and our the building community for many years to come. So look at that. Also, the other thing that we've pictured here is in the Chubbuck Medical Plaza, and the Ream brothers have continued to build over there. The things that were planned for that medical plaza have not happened in exactly the fashion we wanted it to happen, but I do believe that as we stay the course and continue to do the things we need to, we will see more of the health need facilities for our community come into our community. So again, go over and look at that and recognize the great blessing that is, and there's been some real sacrifice to see that those things have happened in the way that they have. I wanted to talk a little bit about the development that is taking place. As I looked at the numbers for permits this last year actually dropped from last year. That concerned me just a little bit until I looked at it on the 5-year scale. On the 5-year scale, we're still up, and last year really was not a bad year at all. As I looked at it, actually the year before, 2019, was actually a record year for some time for the community. So to come down a little from that wasn't as bad as I initially had thought when I looked at those numbers, just comparing the 2 years. But as I look at the 5-year, a lot of good things are happening. We're going to see some good development. We've had several people in front of the council over the last little while talking about the plans of the things they'd like to do. We've had a couple that had to put things on the back burner, and they're ready to go to work now. So we'll see some great things happen in our community. I want to just talk for a minute about ISU. I recognize that they're in Pocatello, but we are a ISU community. I've had many discussions with President Kevin Satterley. They recognize that Chubbuck is part of that ISU community. We need to make sure that we buy into that ISU becomes a very important part of our community. And I'm grateful for the things I've seen President Satterley do to open that. And we're going to see a little bit more of their presence in our community in the coming years. So let's open our hearts and our minds to that and truly understand what it means to be a university community and be part of that. I want to give a shout out to Scott Rasmussen, who has been the director of the College of Technology. He just retired. on the 15th of January. I just want to say how grateful I am for Scott and the great leadership he provided up there. If you haven't been up to see the Eames building that houses those programs, again, it's important that you become aware of what we have in our community. That truly is a gem. That College of Technology produces a lot of very talented individuals, and they have a very high percentage rate of people who are employed by the time they graduate from those programs. So become aware of that. Lastly, I'm posting a picture of my newest grandson, Tice, and I'm doing that just to say that this is the very reason every one of us do the work that we do. We're doing it for this next generation. We want to leave something for them that will be a benefit to them and a blessing to them and help that work to continue. A couple of concluding thoughts. We know that yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, and today is present. They call it a present for a reason, and I just would encourage each one of us to be present. We think about what the coming year will bring, and I want to leave two thoughts there with you there. What the new year brings to you will depend a great deal on what you bring to the new year. Secondly, another thought, we're always governed by those who show up. I'm grateful to live in a community where people show up. They get involved. They want to see things happen right, and I'm grateful for that. I'll conclude with sharing a poem. This poem was actually given to me by a federal judge, and it's been a favorite of mine ever since then. That's been a few years ago. This poem is called The Bridge Builder. An old man going a lone highway came at the evening cold and gray to a chasm vast and deep and wide, through which was flowing a sullen tide. The old man crossed in the twilight dim. The sullen stream had no fear for him, but he turned when safe on the other side and built a bridge to span the tide. Old man, said a fellow pilgrim near, you are wasting your strength with building here. Your journey will end with the ending day. You never again will pass this way. You've crossed the chasm deep and wide. Why build this bridge at eventide? The builder lifted his old gray head. Good friend, in the path I have come, he said. There followed after me today a youth whose feet must pass this way. This chasm has been as naught to me. To that fair-haired youth may a pitfall be. He too must cross in the twilight dim. Good friend, I am building this bridge for him. That truly is what it's all about. Again, I'm grateful to live in a community of bridge builders, and that's what each of you are. Thank you very much, and talk to you another time.